So I want to welcome you to the first ever lure review / JDM lure unboxing for the channel. As you can see, this is not the standard package from Tackle Warehouse. This came from Japan. And let's get to it. Okay, since I got this from Japan Lure Shop, I told you guys a lot of times they'll give you free gifts if you're a repeat customer. Check out what I got. It's a free gift. It's a nice little DAIWA square bill crankbait. Alright, so let's pull out the lures here. Nope, that's not the lure I want to review. This isn't either. This isn't either, so I'm going to throw these off to the side. If you guys want to see a lure review on this, post in the comments and give this video a thumbs up. So the lure that I wanted to review for you guys is the brand new, just released Riser Bait Topwater lure from Jackal. Check that out. So let's pull one of these out here. Okay, so I got the bait out of the box, and let me let you guys take a good look at the detailing on this bait. I can't remember what color this is, but as you can see, it's very striking. It's got a lot of detail. The gill plate is very detailed. It's got a blue color. The top half of it looks like a ghost minnow type of color, but the bottom half is a colored foil. And there's a reason for that. And as you can see as well, it's got a bill that kind of slants upwards, as well as the bottom part here that has an upward slant. Now the reason I got this bait is because I saw a video on Jackall's YouTube page, and the action on this bait was really unique. And I'll go over that with you guys in a second, but first I'm going to pull the scale out and weigh it for you. Okay, so since this is the 007 model, that means it's 70 millimeters long, so right under 3 inches long. As you can see, it's not a very big bait at all. And it says it weighs 8.2 grams. But let's see what the scale says. Okay, so according to the scale, it's pretty much spot on at 8.15 grams. So this is not a heavy bait at all. It's a little tad bit over 1/4 ounce. And in the videos, the guy was using spinning gear. But since I hate using spinning gear, I'm going to use a bait caster that can handle light lures. Okay, so I pulled out a couple of lures here to represent some of the more popular topwater style baits that we fish here in the US. Now probably the most popular is the spook style bait, which is basically a big cigar shaped lure that does the side to side slashing walk the dog style action. The popper, which is supposed to sit on top of the water, and you're supposed to give your rod a couple hard twitches, and the cupped mouth here is supposed to spit bubbles and make a lot of commotion on the top, enticing bass to strike. And then the really not so popular, but popular to me because I've caught my first ever topwater bass on a a bait like this is a topwater prop style bait. It's basically a straight retrieve, and then you have these propellers in the back that create a wake on the top and disturbance. Now, what makes this bait unique is that if you've ever seen fleeing bait fish, what they'll do a lot of times when predator fish are coming after them, they'll basically skim the top of the water. They'll actually jump out of the water for a split second to escape being eaten. And that's what this bait is supposed to do. From the video I saw, it kind of skims the top of the water. It'll catch air and jump a little bit. And from the video I saw, the bass, man, they had zero qualms about chasing this bait down. Now, to me, that's because the action is more natural to a real bait fish, because I've never seen a bait fish walking the dog on top of the water. I've never seen a bait fish sitting still and then suddenly darting off, making popping noises with open mouth. And I've never seen a bait fish just, lazily swimming on top of the water, flapping its tail, creating a wake. Now, if you have, that's great, but I personally haven't. But I have seen bait fish skim the top of the water, jumping out for a split second to escape being eaten, and that's what this lure is supposed to do. And it's probably why the reason they have the foil only on the bottom is because the fish are going to see this from beneath. So yeah, I'm going to take it out tomorrow. It's kind of late in the year. It's still technically false, but I don't know if the topwater bite is still going to be on. But I'm going to try anyway and see if I can get some footage for you guys of this thing in action. Maybe get lucky and catch a fish. So wish me luck. Okay, so now I've subjected you guys to my completely awful attempt at super slow motion. Let's go over some notes here about the Jackal Riser Bait 007R. Now, the first thing I want to note that it casts pretty good. It casts a lot better than I expected. It's got a fixed weighting system, as you can see in this clear model. So despite being just over a 1/4 ounce, you can cast this thing with casting gear, especially elite casting reels like the METANIUM MGL. Now, originally I was going to cast these with the REVO STX, but unfortunately I blew that reel up to where I couldn't pick the backlash out, so I had to make do with the METANIUM MGL and the SHIMANO Poison Glorious. Now, despite this being a medium heavy rated from 1/4 ounce to 1 ounce, it handled the lures really easily. I would estimate I could get at least 100 foot or close to it, and that's with all the brakes on. So a couple other notes here. Now, in the video on the Jackal YouTube page, the guy, the angler, was fishing it with his rod tip up, I think probably somewhere between 45 and 60 degrees. So that helps to keep the bait up. Now, if you actually lower your rod tip and do a retrieve, now since this bait is a sinking bait, it will change the action. It won't skip and and dance across the water as easily. But I do know you can actually change the motion, like it'll hunt from side to side just by moving your rod tip. Now if you actually slow your speed down on your retrieve, the lure, the head will be the only thing that's above the water, and it'll actually do a slight side to side hunting action of just the head, at least that I could see. That's with a slow retrieve speed on your baitcaster. So yeah, I didn't catch any fish, unfortunately. The conditions were pretty awful out there, but I think I got a pretty good sense of the lure. And the question is now, is that will Jackall bring these riser baits to America? And the answer is I don't know. Maybe they will. They release a ton of baits every year in Japan, and they bring very few of them over to America to sell to us. So maybe if you email Jackall and ask them to bring them over, they'll do that for us. But as far as I know, they're not available here yet. And that's yet. So I hope you enjoy this review of this cool new topwater bait that I saw. And once again, I'm going to put in the comments the link to the original Jackall video for you to watch, because that guy in there really could make the lure dance. And you can see these vicious fish strikes. Alright guys, thanks a lot.